You say you want to change, to be better, to grow, to evolve. You make a plan, you set goals, you promise yourself this time will be different, and then, somewhere between intention and action, you stop, you lose focus, you fall back into the old ways, and you ask yourself, why is this so hard? The answer is not that you're lazy, it's not that you're weak, it's that your mind was built to resist change. Psychologically, change is not just a decision, it's a threat. Your brain was designed to protect you from the unknown. It prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar possibility, because the familiar feels safe, even when it's not. Every habit, every belief, is a pattern your mind learned long ago. And patterns are comfort. They're the brain's way of saving energy. So when you try to change, your brain fights back. Not out of cruelty, but out of fear. Neuroscientists call it homeostasis, your brain's need for balance, for predictability. When you start something new, your brain sends warning signals. This is different, this is uncertain, this could hurt. It releases stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, the same chemicals it uses when you're in physical danger. That's why transformation feels so uncomfortable. It's not weakness, it's wiring. Your brain can't tell the difference between emotional discomfort and physical danger. In today's rapidly evolving business landscape, change is not a one-off project, it's a continuous requirement. Yet despite clear plans and significant investment, many change initiatives still underperform or fail entirely. The reason often lies not in the strategy or systems, but in the psychology of the people expected to change. One of the biggest obstacles to change is the human tendency to rely on habits. People naturally repeat familiar behaviors because these routines become automatic over time. Habits form through repetition and learning. Once a behavior becomes automatic, it's difficult to unlearn even when we consciously want to, all about psychology. In the workplace, this means even when employees intellectually understand the benefits of change, their default behaviors can pull them back to the way things have always been done. Successful transformation depends on more than a well-structured rollout. It requires designing change that helps people replace old habits with new ones through familiarity, repetition, reinforcement, and time. Change also activates a more primal response. The oldest part of the brain, often called the reptilian or lizard brain, is focused on survival and security. It governs instinctive reactions such as aggression, territoriality, and avoidance of perceived threats. This part of the brain drives automatic behaviors without thinking about them. So it's when faced with disruption, whether it's a new technology, role, or process, this part of the brain instinctively resists. It interprets change as a threat, triggering fear, defensiveness, or disengagement. Business leaders often misinterpret this reaction as stubbornness or negativity, when in fact it's a natural, unconscious attempt to maintain psychological safety. This resistance helps explain why many business innovations struggle to reach broad adoption. While early adopters may embrace new ways of working enthusiastically, most employees tend to be more cautious. This reflects a well-known pattern in innovation adoption, where the transition from early adopters to the early majority, often referred to as crossing the chasm, is the most difficult phase of change. The marketing student. The early majority need to see clear evidence that the change is safe, beneficial, and supported by peers. If this emotional and behavioral gap isn't addressed, even well-intentioned initiatives can stall. Change leaders must therefore build trust, offer proof points, and create social momentum to help the wider organization follow. For change to succeed, leaders must go beyond communication and project plans. They need to design change experiences that reflect how people think, feel, and behave. This starts with empathy and understanding that resistance is a natural human response. It continues with designing environments that reinforce the desired behaviors consistently over time, are built with those affected by change to establish a sense of ownership and make the new way of working the path of least resistance. But here's the paradox. Evolution begins exactly where comfort ends. Change demands friction. It demands chaos. It demands that you outgrow your old identity, and that's what hurts most. You're not just changing behavior, you're letting go of who you once were. The mind clings to identity like oxygen. Even if that identity is built on pain, it's yours. It's familiar. So when you start to evolve, your subconscious whispers, Who will I be if I'm not this? That's not failure. That's the sound of rebirth. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, the discomfort you feel when your old self and new self collide. That inner tension, that pull between who you were and who you're becoming, is the battlefield of growth. Most people escape it by running back to what feels normal. They mistake familiarity for peace. But peace doesn't live in repetition, it lives in acceptance. Change hurts because it exposes everything false. Every belief that no longer fits, every story you've outgrown, and the mind will do anything to protect its story. Silence, then a faint echo, a voice whispering, "You've changed." You've changed. People say it like an accusation, but isn't that the point? To change means to grow. To evolve means to shed the layers that no longer serve the person you're becoming. The people who fear change are often the ones still hiding in their old story. The one where they were safe because they were small. But you're not meant to stay small. Here's the truth science reveals. Your brain can adapt, it can rewire itself, it can evolve. Every time you practice a new habit, think a new thought, or respond differently to an old trigger, you build new neural pathways. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity. Sordian qua ben dam ben so the builder born dense the offshore ben gore your was cur but returned sordi did I on the send Restandra to reshape itself through repetition and emotion. You are not trapped in who you were, you're only repeating what you've practiced. And that means you can practice something new. At first your mind will resist. It will crave the old patterns. It will whisper, "This isn't working. Why bother? Go back." That's not truth. That's withdrawal. You're detoxing from your past self. You're rewiring your brain. You're breaking emotional addictions to comfort and predictability. Change feels like chaos because your brain is reorganizing itself around a new possibility. That's not failure, that's growth. Most people think transformation happens in one big moment. It doesn't. It happens in 1,000 small choices, tiny rebellions against the old self. Each time you act differently, you carve a new path in your mind. Change isn't about willpower, it's about repetition, it's about teaching your brain a new normal. At first it feels impossible, then it feels familiar, and finally, it feels like you. That's how evolution works. Not in leaps, but in rewiring. So, if change feels hard, if it feels messy, painful, confusing, if it feels like you're breaking apart, good. That's the evidence of progress. That's the proof that your mind is unlearning the old code. Because before you rebuild, you must dismantle. Before you evolve, you must shed. The pain you feel is your old self fighting for survival, but your new self is waiting. The psychology of change is not about forcing transformation. It's about surrendering to growth. It's about choosing awareness over comfort, curiosity over control, and faith over fear. You can't control the pace of evolution, but you can control the direction. And as long as you keep moving forward, you are changing. You are becoming. You are alive. The truth is, you're supposed to change. The version of you that began this journey was never meant to survive it. That's not loss, that's transformation. So when the mind resists, when the world feels uncertain, when everything inside you screams stop, smile. You're not falling apart, you're evolving. Mind scripted, understand your mind, and you'll understand your evolution.